in many communities across the province, the issue of unwanted animals and pet overpopulation is prevalent here in the southeast. Recently, Steinbach RCMP issued a plea to the general public for leads as to the identity of the person responsible for dumping a garbage bag full of kittens in the middle of a residential street in town. And while animal lovers were appalled at the callousness of the act, this sadly is not an isolated incident. Sonia Christ is the founder of Manitoba Great Pyrenees Rescue in New Bothwell. She began her operation several years ago upon realization of the lack of resources available for unwanted or neglected animals.
Well, we definitely need a lot more support, a lot more services provided here in the southeast. There's just not enough resources for the animals that are strays. I get calls daily for unwanted animals, whether they're surrendered or strays, and there's just really no place to put them. I'm very limited.
Because they lack a physical space to house their rescue animals in, Sonia's group, like so many others, relies on the generosity of foster families to provide temporary shelter for the dogs and cats she rescues until she can place them in their forever homes. Sonia currently works with between 20 and 30 foster families, that number fluctuating depending on the current number of animals requiring temporary shelter. Sonia says the lack of a physical shelter in this part of the province contributes greatly to the cruel scenario some unwanted animals find themselves in.
Ideally, it would be great to have a shelter down here in the southeast, not so much as a dump-off for them. They do have to take responsibility for these animals, but having some place to go for them that are picked up on a ditch, and we just took in 2 kittens that were found on the highway, right in a ditch, and they had no place to go. And so we took them in. Luckily, we did find a quick home for them already, but normally they don't.
Meet Jonesy. He's a stray picked up in the RM of Hanover, and he's just one of the up to 150 unwanted animals that Sonia's group alone will take into foster on an annual basis.
That's including the cats. And cats are extremely hard to place. We keep our adoption fees extremely low. But we've had dogs sitting in foster homes for a year trying to find that home.
Given the sheer numbers, Sonia says that the bulk of this issue comes down to responsible pet ownership.
I think people just don't realize the responsibility of spaying and neutering your animals, not having your pets run at large.
Tracy McWhorter is the director of Earth Dog Terrier Rescue and agrees that in a lot of these cases, it simply comes down to irresponsibility on the part of the owner.
There's just so much neglect and abuse, and people get in over their heads. And lots of times I've seen situations where puppies have outgrown their cute stage, and so then people don't want them anymore, so they just kind of let them go and make room for a new puppy. It's really a circle, kind of a vicious cycle, really.
Tracy says that there is another huge contributing factor to the unwanted animal issue. Last year, she came across a Kijiji ad placed by a resident in the Rosenort area looking to get rid of 25 dogs. She says the number of dogs this person was looking to dispose of raised her suspicions.
When I saw the Kijiji ad, I suspected it was a puppy mill that was getting out of business. And so the 2 dogs I brought, one of them was spayed, but I don't think they knew she was spayed. They'd taken her themselves off of Kijiji just a few days earlier, her and her sister. And they intended to breed the sister, but she was too emaciated, so they just wanted to be rid of her. That's what they told me.
Tracy says it's not only the puppy mill scenario that contributes to the issue of pet overpopulation. The backyard breeders can also add to the problem.
Some of them I don't think realize what they're doing. I think a lot of them have good intentions. There's a lot of people who think that their dog needs to have that one litter to experience being a mother or a father, which is silly because they don't care. A dog doesn't care. So if you have a dog that has 10 puppies, that's 10 puppies in a shelter or a rescue that can't be adopted, then it's another 10 that can't come into rescue. It just oversaturates.
Tracy says that for most of these backyard breeders, contributing to the unwanted animal population isn't intentional. She says, though, that ultimately that decision to breed their animal oftentimes leads to a tragic end result.
I don't think they understand how many animals are euthanized when they do breed and add to the overpopulation, because it's something that the shelters can't really talk about, just because it's not what people want to hear.
Tracy also says that just getting people to admit that there is an issue is just part of the problem.
They don't realize that they're adding to a problem. They don't even realize there is a problem. If you talk to most people, they'll tell you that there is no overpopulation and that it's something that we create to talk about ourselves, but it is a big problem. I think if they knew and if they could see what we see, they would not do what they do.
Sonia Christ from the Manitoba Great Pyrenees Rescue says that while rescue groups like hers do receive a lot of support, she feels that more could be done to alleviate the situation.
Unfortunately, it takes either a tragic or sad story for people to realize the importance of what we need down here in the Southeast. It's just really unfortunate that these kittens were found and they were dumped, and it just shows awareness that we do need something down here. We do need help. We do need a shelter. We do need more community support. I mean, people are great as well. We do get a lot of support from the Steinbach Walmart, Steinbach Pet Value, donating their food and our events there. They've just been tremendous. The vets down here. But we need more public support.